Hi, my name's Victor. I've been off drugs and alcohol since April 11th, 2014. For about a good 20 years of my life, I was in and out of incarceration, days at a time, months at a time, years at a time. I was always pretty quiet, always respectful, old school kind of Mexican style home. And it was me, my mom, my brother, and we shared a bed for years. And my grandparents shared a bed in the next room, and it was good. And my mom remarried when I was around 6, 7 years old, and life was pretty normal then. I learned to enjoy sports. He would coach my teams. Never cussed, never hit, never yelled at us, and I really looked up to him. I loved him. Never called him dad. I called him Mike, but I looked up to him. And they separated. They had their own issues. After that, my mom was alone. My mom was always working, so there was no structure, kind of discipline at home. We always had food to eat. We always had a clean home, but my mom was just gone a lot. I look back now, my mom dealt with a lot of pressure and stress. After my stepdad and my mom separated, I dealt with a lot of stuff at home, a lot of abuse, a lot of physical abuse from my dad. From my brother, physical abuse from my mom, and I seemed to be the grunt of the abuse of the pain, the anger, whatever it was. I don't know what it was, and it made me kind of timid. Around the age of 10 and 11, my brother started getting involved in gangs, and he started bringing the guys around. And the respect they gave to my brother, they gave to me as a little brother. And what I learned, in a few years that I went through that stuff, that violence was always a way that earned you respect. I fought back with my brother, and he would just lay back. I would fight back on the streets and get respect. And so that's something that was implemented in my head, a lot. Before the drug addiction, the alcoholism kicked in, that violence part and living up to that played a crucial part of my life. As I grew older, and my cousin was also part of this. I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that lifestyle. First time I would say I drank was 10 years old. I was at a school with a couple of my friends, and the older brothers had some cheap wine, and we drank it. And one of the first things that I loved about drinking alcohol was that it gave me confidence. It gave me courage. And a lot of my friends' parents their dads were in prison, or they were drug addicts. Their uncles were drug addicts in prison. Usually, most of the guys I actually hung around with were single parent homes. We ran the streets and we got in trouble. And my mom saw that, and I love my mom, but I didn't care what I did. I loved that lifestyle, and I really enjoyed it. And drinking and getting high gave me courage to be part of that lifestyle. The first time I stuck a needle on my arm, I was fresh out of prison, and some of the older guys in the neighborhood I look up to, they offered it to me, and I did it, no hesitation. And that was kind of like my MO. If somebody offered me a drug, I wouldn't just say, yeah, I would do it. I just thought about, like, what kind of high am I gonna get? Is it gonna be any good? Is it gonna be bad? What is it gonna do for me? And as I hit my early 20s, mid 20s, my drug addiction started progressing. And in between, I had a daughter. And when I would be in jail and prison, I always wanted a simple home, going to work, a girlfriend, a daughter. I wanted to be that father that my father never was, and I had that opportunity. And for a few years in my mid-20s, maybe a couple years, I had that normalcy. But that addiction and that lifestyle came calling back to me. And I always said that I wouldn't be like my father. I wouldn't leave my daughter, I wouldn't leave my family, but I did. I left them. And the jail lifestyle, the street lifestyle, having no responsibilities, not being accountable to anybody, I missed that, and I went back to that. And I got what I wanted. I lost the family, and I know I got worse. There was no boundaries. Heroin and crystal meth started becoming the norm for me, and I didn't work, I didn't do anything. I just hustled on the streets. I risked my life. And I had no relationship with my daughter. I would see her here and then, but I mean, the beautiful little girl that I love so much, and I would die to get home to kiss and carry, and I was there when she was born, and I said I would never leave her. I abandoned her. And I went back to my lifestyle. I was in prison, and I got a letter from the court stating that if I didn't show up to court and become responsible, I was going to lose my daughter. And that didn't stop me. I got out and did the same thing. I remember before going into the courthouse to go see, my daughter sitting in front of the judge, and having this opportunity of knowing what I needed to do to get my daughter and my life back. That before we got in the courtroom, because of partying all night, I was throwing up before I went in. And none of that, the incarcerations, none of that. You know, and it got to the point where I was in and out, and I had this mom that was always there for me no matter what, and she always would visit me in jail and send me money in jail, and no matter what happened, I would always have somewhere to go. And you know, I remember the chaplain coming in and asking me my name, and I was like, yeah, I'm Victor Vega, and him saying, letting me know that my mother had passed away the prior day, and I remember breaking down, and you know, I got approved to go home for 6 hours and come right back in, and you know, I paid respects to my mom, but I was so sick in my brain that all I thought about was consuming as many drugs as I could to bring back to jail. And I accomplished that, and I went back to jail, and I got out, and nothing changed. I went right back to the same thing, and I continued to do the same thing and continue to do the same thing. And I would manipulate people and use the story of not having my mom and what had happened, and people knew what happened, and people would have helped me out, and I would continue to hurt people, steal from people that I loved, lie to people that I loved, not have a relationship with my daughter. You know, it was a point in my time where my daughter lived blocks from me and I could not see her. And I remember one time being at one of the houses, and you know, with their uncles and me being there, and she walked up, and I was so ashamed that I tried to hide behind the car from her, and she saw me, and I talked to her, and you know, and it was so shameful. I couldn't do anything, and then you know, I continued to suffer and suffer and suffer, and I kept doing it. I didn't know what to do, and in this particular incarceration, I was probably in there for a few weeks, and I had no home at the time. I told the judge I didn't have anywhere to go, and I was sent to rehab. And when I got to the rehab, I didn't have any intentions of, what I say, changing my life. I just needed somewhere to go, and there was no flash in the sky. Nothing changed overnight, but that was the beginning. And for the next 8 months in that rehab, I started doing some work. And one of my mentors had told me that I need to start changing everything. I had tattoos right here, right here. I talked and acted a certain way. And I started going to different meetings, and I started looking around, and I started seeing the way people treat each other. It wasn't the way that I grew up. People would treat each other with respect. They would talk to each other with courtesy. They would show each other love, encouragement. And you know, I started trying everything. I became helpful around the program. I started being involved more in AA meetings. I started taking commitments. You know, working the steps for me, and AA was a big part because I started opening up. I started sharing all these things that I held out for so many years. It helped me confront a lot of demons. You know, these things that I felt were like big boulders in my life that I was just carrying and dragging around and trying to act like there was no pain in them. They started becoming light, and I started chipping away at them, and they started coming off, and I started becoming free. And no matter what kind of emotions or feelings that I felt, I didn't drink or get high. I stuck through them. I fought through them because I always gave up. I always went back to drugs and alcohol. No matter what, I always ran away from my problems. I left my family, I left my daughter, I left all these things. I left my life, gave up my freedom because I didn't want to deal with things. But this time I didn't. I stuck it through, and I needed the help of other people. I needed the support of other people. I needed a relationship with God. I needed things greater than me. I needed the meetings. I needed church. I needed so many different things, and I needed to work hard and dig into it, and I did. And things started changing over the years. You know, I've progressed. It's the progress, not perfection. I love that saying because the progression, sometimes I've been quick, sometimes slow, sometimes stagnant, sometimes flat. I've been up, I've been down, I've plateaued in so many ways, and I have not given up yet. I have a beautiful relationship with my daughter. She respects me a lot. We talk all the time. We spend time together. For a while I could not hug and kiss my daughter, and now I do. I just tell her I love her, I hug and kiss her, we talk about everything, and the only thing I continue to do is continue to stay clean and sober and stay on that path, and so I could be that father. I've done a lot of work and learned to become selfless and help other people out. You know, being around good, positive people is crucial in my sobriety. I have a job where I'm able to help other people that have been through the same things that I've been through. I'm able to go back to the rehab that I went through and be of service and give back. I help other people get through the steps. I continue to attend my meetings, and I do my best to live a positive lifestyle. And I know that it's daily work. You know, just today, what am I going to do today to help myself? What am I going to do today to not mess things up? And it does take work, and I know I have to continue to take care of myself, continue to go to meetings, continue to pray, continue to stay healthy, stay in healthy relationships, stay around good people, because I love my life today, and I'm able to look in the mirror and be happy with myself. Know that I'm not perfect, know that there's always work to be done, and I'm grateful that through everything that I've been through, all the pain that I've caused people, my daughter, myself, that I'm given another chance. You know, that I'm able to sit here and speak about it, because I know a lot of people don't ever get that chance, and I have people in my life that will never get that chance again, and I'm grateful for what I have today, and I'm happy. Life isn't perfect, but I'm happy with it, and I'm able to deal with things on a daily basis. Whatever's in front of me, if I don't get it right, I look up or I look around, and there's support there, and that's what I need. I can't do it alone. I know that for a fact. And with that, thank you.